Moving on to the Chapter 3 packet that was provided by the Keystone company, we're talking about which graph represents a function. Well, anytime you're given a graph and you're asked about a function, I want you to see if it passes the vertical line test. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The vertical line test tests a vertical line. Can you see how when I draw a vertical line here, it touches twice? That means it is not a function. When I draw a vertical line there, it touches twice. It is also not a function. Now when I draw a vertical line here, 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 it's only touching once, right? So that is still a function. Now what we have to talk about is this line right here. When I draw a vertical line right there, it touches once right here, so I'll give it a little check mark. But it actually doesn't touch here, which makes me really happy because it shouldn't touch there because it can only touch once at any vertical line. C is the function. D cannot be a function because this line it would touch infinitely many times. Number 2, what function is represented by this table of values? Well, this is a calculator problem. So we're going to take your calculator. Excuse me. Lily's taking a nap, so I have to be extra quiet. Alright, we're going to put those values into the table. So we're going to hit stat, over number 1. We're going to type over these ones. So we're going to put our x's here. And we're going to put our y's over here. And apparently I missed something. Oh, I shouldn't have these ones. How'd I do? I think I got them. Hit stat, over to calc, number 4, enter, and there's your equation. So you had to find the one that has a negative 3 or a positive 3.5 and a negative 1.5. So positive 3.5 is either B or D, and the negative 1.5 means it has to be D. You could always just take these x's and see which one it plugs into. It's my husband. He's showing you an Easter egg. I hope they're listening. I hope they're actually watching. Alright, number 3. The table below represents a linear function. What is the missing value b? This here is not asking about the y-intercept. I think that's super sneaky. Oh, by the way, if I write something down, it's not because I don't know what it means. I'm writing it down because you probably didn't know that, which means you should write it down. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're actually only going to need 2 points. So we're going to pick those 2 points, put them in our calculator, and get an equation. And you can go back to the way you did this in Chapter 5 with Mr. McBurney and Miss Shirey. I'm just showing you the fast, easy, quick way. Okay? So 1 and 3, 4.5 and 3.5. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. And there's our equation. So y equals negative 0.5x plus 5. Those come from those values right there. And then they want me to figure out what's this y value if I plug 4 in. So I'm going to put 4 in right where they write for x, because that's what they want me to plug in. When I plug in 4, I get negative 0.5 times 4 plus 5, and I get 3. You can see right there, all I did was plug it into my equation. There it is. So the answer is 3. 3 would be the missing value. Number 4, this is something super easy that you guys can do. You just have to remember it. The range. The range are the y values. Okay? That's a huge deal. Just remembering that the range are the y values could save you a whole bunch of problems. So we're going to circle our y values, and the only thing that has those y values would be, I think it is option D. Those are the only ones that have the exact same y values, and they put them in order. Number 5, Hamid buys a bus. Sorry, I thought that was funny. Buys a bus pass for $10, and then he pays $2.25 each time. I want you to write here. See that how it says each time? That's the slope. Anytime you see that each or every, that's the slope. Which equation shows the relationship with the number of times he rides the bus and how much he's spending? So how much he's spending is 25 cents each time. Remember how I said that was the slope? plus the y-intercept of just $10. So that matches option B. Number 6. A relation is graphed on a coordinate grid. Just so you know, a relation is just like a set of points. And they happen on this one to be connected. What is the domain? Well, I want you to circle the domain, and the domain describes the x values. Again, this is something really easy you could do if you just remember what the definition of domain is. So left to right, I see this goes from here to here. Can you kind of see that, like this area in here, this is the domain. It goes from left to right. So the leftmost value is -4 and the rightmost value is +4. And they're x values. So the only one that fits that would be A. Now you might think that B is the option, but B is not the option because like we have values at 3.5, we have values at 0.5, we have values at 0.7. It's connected. So it can't be B because our lines are connected. This one is the range. They're trying to fool you. And this one's just the range all screwed up. Number 7. What linear... Look, this is another calculator problem. I hope you've noticed, especially when I do the Chapter 4 video for you, how many times you can use this calculator function. You will have these on the Keystone, so make sure you use them. So type in -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Over here, -2/3, -1/3, 0, 1/3 and 2/3. And stat over 4. There it is. So I'm looking for a y-intercept of 0, which they all have, and I'm looking for a positive 0.3333333333. So it can't be these two because these two are negative, and this is 0.3 repeating. You could take all your x's and just plug them in to double check that you get those y's out, which you would. Number 8. Which equation describes the graph shown below? Well, you know what I'm going to do? Pick out 2 clear-cut points. So let's see. I see 0, 1, and I see 1, -3. Okay, I'm going to type those in my calculator and watch what happens. Ready? Clear these out. 0, 1, 1 and -3. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. -4x plus 1. My only option would be, oh, sneaky, sneaky. This one's not solved for y. Which one's all messed up? The answer is B, but let's make sure you understand why the answer is B. We have to take 4x to the other side. That was very sneaky of them. So you get y equals -4x plus 1. And now it matches. That was semi-sneaky of them, in my opinion. Number 9. Excuse me. It says, which table below shows the points of a linear function? Now, they're not asking us for the equation, so this is actually not a calculator. Okay, because they're not asking for the equation. So what we do is we just have to find the graph that has those points. So over 1, down 1/4, over 2, down 1/2. So if you look, the only ones that could possibly be it are going to be not this one and not this one, because those don't go down. We can get rid of those. It's either these set of points or these set of points. Now, you might say, well, those set of points are exactly the same. How do you know the difference? Remember how it asks you about linear? They want the ones that make a straight line. B does not make a straight line. It makes a V. A makes a straight line. So because they use the word linear, our answer is A, because the points match and it's a straight line. Number 10. What table of values corresponds to the function graphed on the coordinate grid? Alright, so you know what I'm going to do? This might be kind of annoying for you, but I don't really care because it will get you the right answer, okay? So let's pick out 2 points up here on the graph. I'm going to pick out this one, this -3, -2. And what's another one that's pretty close? Oh, this 3, 1. I'm going to put that in my calculator. See how many times you can use the calculator if you're going to learn it, like definitely worth it. There we go. So y equals 0.5x minus 0.5 for my calculator. Now I just have to see which one of these tables gives me the same thing. So just take a look and watch. I would actually like you to kind of try it on your own first, but you'll do what you want. Okay, so there's all of those. Oh, that does not even come close to matching. A is out. There is a mathematical way to do this. I'm just showing you maybe in case you're not necessarily quite confident in your math skills, how you can still use your calculator. This is still not it, is it? P.S. You should pause the video if I'm going too fast. You really should be trying these yourself. Hey, there it is. I think we found it. C is the only one that gives me the same equation, so I put a circle around it, and it's the same equation as the one above, so it has to be it. Number 11. What is the domain and the range of the relationship shown in the table? Well, they're not asking for an equation, so I'm not going to get my calculator. The domains, remember, the x's, and the ranges are the y's, so it's not A. So we're looking for 4, 5, 9, 12 for the domain. Hey, B's the only one that's right. And 2, 3, 7, 11 for the range. Everything else has wrong numbers. Hopefully you'll do a good job on those problems. What is the function represented by this graph? Well, looky, looky, archway cookie. I have my point of 0, 2. I have another point of, where's another clear-cut point? Maybe like this one down here, 5, 1. Let's see which one matches. You have to pick like clear-cut points, though, otherwise this isn't going to work so well for you. Let's see, so 0, 5, 2, 1. So y equals, that's negative 0.2x, whoopsie, and plus 2. So they all have the plus 2. I see they're all negative, but it's not 5, it's not that one. And 0.2 is going to be this one right here. See how negative 1 divided by 5 is negative 0.2? That's the one that matches. That's it. And you can also see it goes up to 2 and then down 1 over 5, down 1 over 5, which makes it D. Number 13, the manager of a bike shop rents bicycles. The manager charges for the bicycles plus an hourly fee. An hourly fee, that's going to be, oh, and look, they even give you the function here. That's nice. They might not usually do that. The cost to rent a bicycle depends on how many hours you have, and so that's the function. What statement is true? So we have 2h, and then we have plus 10. Remember, this is how many hours you have the bike, okay? And 10 is the, no matter what, it's just the upfront cost. So you pay $10 no matter what. The cost to rent a bike for 7 hours is $37. So if we plug 7 in, let's see if it is 37. So 2 times 7 plus 10. Nope, that's only 24. This would have to say $24. To rent a bike for 6 hours costs 22. I think that one's going to be it. So let's try. So if we do 2 times 6 plus 10, oh, that does make $22. B has to be the answer. Number C, or letter C, has these two things switched. That's not very nice, is it? And letter D is just wrong. Okay? What relation is not a function? So, definition of function means the x's don't repeat. That's probably the easiest way of seeing it. So in order to not be a function, we want the one where the x's repeat. So just find the one where the x's repeat, and that would definitely be A. That is not a function. Number 15. The gas tank in John's car holds, it just got really dark. Okay, the gas tank in John's car holds 15 gallons of gas, so that's when it's full. Maybe we want to like say something like that, when it's full. His car averages gas mileage is 20 miles a gallon. So he goes 20 miles. He loses 1 gallon every 20 miles. Okay? If John's trip starts with 15 gallons, which equation represents it? Now, here's the hard thing for kids. Okay, I think you can probably, let's see, what does Y represent? How much gas is in the car. So because we're starting with a positive amount of gas, it can't be these two because it's about how much gas is remaining. So 15 is our starting value. Okay, so a lot of kids will pick option D, but here's the wrong thing about option D. See how this is in gallons of gas? That means this one would be negative 20 gallons in 1 mile. And that's not true. That doesn't make any sense. We're not going to lose 20 gallons of gas in a single mile. This is the correct answer because it's negative 1 gallon in 1 mile. So what I'm trying to point out, and what I'm hoping some people are listening to, is if this is how many gallons, then this is gallons too. So the numerator and the y-intercept mean the same thing. So if it'd be down 1 gallon every mile, C is your answer. A lot of kids will pick D, so you just have to kind of be careful with that. All right. This is kind of a nice problem if I remember properly. It says the relation is described as follows. Each output value is the product of the input value x times 2. So it's literally like y equals 2 times x because it's the output y is 2 times or the product of 2 and the x value. So y equals 2x. Complete the table. So this isn't too bad, right? It's literally going to be like y equals 2 times negative 2. So it's negative 4. And it's like y equals 2 times negative 1. So it's negative 2. Then it's y equals 2 times 0. So it's 0. And then y equals 2 times 1. So that's not hard. You're just doubling those. Is this a function? Yes, it is. Okay? I know it passed the vertical line test, but that's not the explanation they're looking for. And they don't want you to also... I kind of use the dumbed down definition when I say x's can't repeat. The real definition is this. Each x value can only have one y value. That is what they really want you to say. Okay, so memorize that. Yes, each x value can have only one y value. C, graph it. Not only for the values in the table, but for all the values. So in other words, they want you to graph it and connect it and make a line. So I'll plot those points. And all we had to do is connect. I don't have a ruler. I kind of wish I did. Oh, it's so messy. It's pretty good, I guess. I don't know. There. Not too bad without a ruler, right? So you want to make sure you connect it with a line, and you want to make sure you put arrows on it. Write an equation for this relation. My husband just brought me a ruler. How sweet of him. But that's okay because I'm so perfect. Look how perfect my line is. He's shaking his head because he knows I am perfect. That's why he's shaking his head. Right, honey? Uh-huh. Okay. Perfection. Write an equation that represents, you're just going to write y equals 2x. That's all they want. Nothing fancy. That's the equation that models or represents this relation. And that's the end of chapter 3.